Look, mate, I don't want to hear excuses. I just want to see upgrades on the car. This wouldn't be happening if I was at Red Bull. What? The boardroom's looking run down. Well, give it a coat of paint. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today we have the French Grand Prix and hopefully another strong race from the team. And well, before we get to that, a few bits of housekeeping to do. First of all, I've got to thank two new channel members, Will and Damien. Guys, this is really special because they also support me on Patreon. So this is completely unnecessary, but really welcome. So thank you guys. And also a Patreon supporter that has upped their pledge. So Thomas Kovacs, thank you so much, mate. Again, as I've said before, if you enjoy the content, you're able to. There's a link down in the description. There's the join button for the membership as well. But if not, you know, obviously not everybody can or wants to. If you just watch the ads for me, and that is absolutely brilliant. That's fantastic. Now, there is a little bit to catch you up on since last race. If we go and have a look at the inbox, and we have had a rule change, which I absolutely hate. Double points for the last race. They did it once, didn't they, in real life, and it just ruins it. So there we go. That's going to come in for next season. You know, it might work in our favor, it might not. I just think it just ruins the whole integrity of the season, but that's my personal opinion. But in the game, we're going to have it next year, and hopefully we can get rid of it after that, because I really don't like it. Now, some other things that have happened. The boardroom is in poor condition, so we've given it a coat of paint. We're actually upgrading it, I think. And the other thing that's in poor condition is the helipad. Now, that was already up to its maximum amount, so we're refurbishing the helipad. We're upgrading the boardroom, as I tend to do. So we're going to end up with a level 4 boardroom out of this, and the helipad will just stay as it is and go up a level. Hospitality area. Let's just upgrade that as well. We don't want level 2 stuff if we can get away with it. So we'll do that. Now, the other... I don't know what to do with the car development thing. The suspension thing to upgrade is 10 million. We've got 16 million in the bank, so let's do that as well. What I think we're going to start to do, we've got this race, then we've got Hungary, then we've got the summer break. I think after the summer break, we'll start and work towards next year's car. So if we can get all these things that help develop that car as high as possible, then that's going to help us, you know, working towards next year's car, obviously. So that was pretty much every... Oh, no, the other thing I wanted to show you is this. Here we go here. The scouting for a new race engineer. Now, this guy is level 85. He's only... how old is he? He's not that old. He's 42. So there's... You know, he's going to be around for a little while yet. Room to develop. But pit crew performance even 89. The weakness is feedback, and we can work on that. That's absolutely fine. I think, with knowing that our race engineer's contract is up at the end of this season, I think he might be our man to come in. Let me know what you think in the comments. But Ben Mitchell, we might be seeing a little bit more of him. If we go back and have a look at our current guy who's expiring here, I mean, he's not bad, but he's certainly not as good, is he? So I think that makes sense to make that change. A better pit crew management as well will hopefully mean that we'll get some better pit stops out of us as well. Now, if we go and have a look at the cars, we haven't got anything new on the car yet. You can see here, if we have a look at projects, the new front wing research is done in 8 days. The underfloor is 22 days. So what I'm thinking is we might get the front wing in time for Hungary, just though it might come after the race weekend. And the underfloor will be after the summer break as well. So I think that might... I haven't decided yet, given how we are looking in the constructors, in a little bit of a battle for third. I'm wondering if that might do us for this year, or if we want to sort of upgrade again, but that'll obviously then come out of next year's car. So again, any thoughts you have on that? Maybe we see how the next couple of races go and see how things are looking. Now, in terms of the drivers, no upgrades for Sargeant today, but K-Mag does have a development point, which we will put into control for him. So that takes him up to 79 there. And Mr. Jack Crawford has a point as well. And we will put that into... we'll get his pace all up to 65. And then we'll start working on consistency, I think. So that is Mr. Crawford. So, and that is pretty much everything. There's nothing else to catch you up on. Let's go and have a look at what we're expecting today. A dry weekend in the south of France. We can see the sectors there for qualifying. Red is Sector 1. Blue is Sector 2. Yellow is Sector 3. And we can see there, again, a little bit of everything. It's just why this track is... It's a test track for all categories pretty much, isn't it? I mean, that's why it looks the way it does. Of course, it's a test track. We can see there's medium and high speed corners, which is the only crucial thing to have on the car. Time considerations, 27 seconds for a pit stop. So have to bear that in mind as well. And expected strategies, it's a one-stop, isn't it? Now, the question is, do we want to go and look for a late soft tyre? Now, we can see there the difference between the two is about half a second a lap. So it might be something that is worthwhile doing, but we'll kind of see where we qualify and things like that before we worry too much about that. Performance, so we want a qualifying of both cars in the top 12, which is, I think, that's pretty much the harshest thing we've had, but we'll add the other two in, get one car into Q2 and Q3. Fastest lap. Yeah, let's go for that. If we're going to maybe put a soft tyre on late in the race. Now, we need one car to finish in the top 14 to get 500,000. And we, of course, need one car in the top 14 for 3 more races. And we'll get 800 and or so thousand for that as well. So that is everything ready to go. Let's head off to France. So, confirmation of the weather for the weekend. I'm going to do free practice and I will see you momentarily for qualifying. Alright, so qualifying is upon us. We have done free practice. Let's have a look and see how we go. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit of our pace here, in that I remember to put in the old engine, ERS and gearbox, so we are going to be slower because of that. Now, whether we're going to make up enough time here, of course, is debatable. Sargeant in FP1 was 14th. Jack Crawford about 0.4 of a second off of him in 17th, which is okay. FP2, you can see K-Mag jumped in, was 13th. Sargeant was 16th. And then FP3, it was a little bit worse again, but again, everything is wearing that little bit more again. So it was 14th and 16th. Now, I can't remember when we've done this in the past exactly what the time difference was by, putting in the newer of everything. You can see that it is quite worn down. What I'm trying to achieve by doing this, and I've been forgetting to do it if I'm completely honest, is I'm trying to limit penalties we have to take by not wearing things out with the running that we're doing in free practice. It's what all the big teams do. So, yeah, that's the thought process behind it. Now, whether or not it's actually going to make a difference, I mean, it'll make a difference to engine wear, but whether or not it's actually going to make a difference to actually, you know what? It's a faster. Let's go with the newest engine we have for K-Mag. Yeah, whether or not it's actually going to make a difference in terms of penalties at the end of the season, it may or may not. But it makes me feel like I'm important to know what I'm doing, so that's why we're doing it. So Q1 should be okay, given that we're putting new engine parts in. So if there's any issue, I'll come back, but hopefully I'll see you momentarily with our preparations for Q2. So yeah, we're absolutely fine. Right back on the pace. K-Mag 6th, Sargeant 13th. Both cars just did the one run. So that explains perhaps why Sargeant is so far down. So we've saved ourselves a set of soft tyres as well. We need them for the race now. Brilliant. We're ready to go. Let's go and see what Q2 holds for us. Okay, so we are coming around for our second run. We're on board with Sargeant. We're currently 6th and 3rd, having done a lap on a used set of tyres. So this is a fresh set for us. We'll get an idea here of how we're looking. But certainly on the first run anyway, we're looking good to get both cars through. And Magnussen actually split the Red Bulls. Now, whether that's going to maintain, I don't know or not. But we've done a yellow sector, a green sector with both cars in Sector 1. We'll get a Sector 2 time here momentarily as the checkered flag comes out. And Sargeant has gone green. There's a lot of green up there as Sargeant has gone down one position as Alonso goes ahead of him. He's gone down another one now. He's down to 9th. And let's see if he can get himself out of the into Q3 here. Here we go. Can he go a little bit faster? He's outside the session right now. He gets himself back in. And K-Mag from 8th will bump himself up to 4th. So both cars go on to Q3. Let's go see if we can cause an upset when we get there. Okay, so both cars have done their first run on used tyres. So this is our second run now on our new tyres. The reason we're doing that is so we have 2 sets of new tyres for the race. Soft tyres, that is, if we need them. Sargeant is currently 10th. K-Mag is 4th. So we're on board with Sargeant. We've got K-Mag behind him. Sargeant's done a green sector, as has K-Mag. Let's see what everybody else is doing here. There's not much green out there, is there? Which is obviously a positive. Let's see if Sargeant can bump himself up a few positions here. They're going to start coming across, setting their lap times. Alonso is first. He stays where he is, doesn't go faster. Russell doesn't improve. And there's a lot of cars that are not improving right now. K-Mag's only done a yellow middle stack. The Sargeant's gone green. Can he leapfrog a few of these cars in front and get himself a few rows up the grid here? Let's see what he can do. Logan Sargeant crosses the line. He goes 8th. Good job, Logan. And K-Mag will stay 4th. 8th and 4th will start the race. So I'm going to say that's a fairly successful qualifying for us, isn't it? I would have taken that before we started. K-Mag is ahead of both Mercedes. Sargeant just is going to be on the same row of the grid, the 4th row of the grid there with George Russell. So that's going to be perhaps his battle. We just sort of man up, don't we? K-Mag can take Hamilton. Russell can be taken down by Sargeant, and we'll move further ahead in the constructors. Now let's have a look at the strategy here. The hard-soft strategy might... I mean, it does work, doesn't it? What you'll want to do is come on a little bit soon. It's very, very marginal, but it might come back to us at the end, mightn't it? The issue is how much time are we going to lose early on here. Do we want to give ourselves... So let's go with that for now, but I'm wondering if we actually want to... Say if we were to do this, but start on the soft tyre... And then give ourselves give ourselves the option then of making a stop if the race isn't quite going our way onto a hard. But of course the issue then is that while we're on wearing hards, everybody else is going to be on soft tyres anyway, so the advantage we would get is not particularly good, is it? So I don't think that's what we want to do. Let's be aggressive. Let's make sure we're really coming through fast at the end. Maybe we'll get a bit of luck, get a safety car early on in the race to bank things up. And the thing is, if we do get a safety car, we can always go onto a medium tyre, and that'll get us to the end there. Because if we look at this, about lap 30, you could probably go onto a medium and get to the end. So I think I like this. We're going to go with strategy C, and we might do that with K-Mag as well. And again, we just want to go onto the soft tyre as soon as possible, making sure that we're going to get to the end. So I like that. Hopefully you agree with that strategy, and let's go do this race. Okay, welcome back. All Red Bull front row. There's K-Mag there. Now, of course, the downside to this is we're going to be starting on a hard tyre, which isn't ideal, but I think I see quite a few other hard tyres around us, yeah. So, well, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, to be honest. Let's see what Sargeant can do. We are deploying the first few laps as ever. Just trying to make up positions where we can and make sure we're in the battle when DRS is opened up. Let's go back to intervals here and see what we can do. We've held position, which is good. And we'll see if with the ERS operational, if down this Minstrel straight, we can get a few overtakes done. We might have Leclerc here, you know. We have Sargeant's got him covered. Now let's see if we can go and get the Mercedes in front as well.
Keep doing.
Go on, Logan. Go on, Logan. We'll double up the speed, and now we've got a hard tyre, sorry, in front there with Russell. I think Hamilton might be on a medium, and if we jump up here to Magnussen, he's got himself ahead of Perez up into 3rd, which is very nice. As Sainz, who's been quite quick all weekend, is giving Verstappen a bit of a hard time for the lead. And well, can we take advantage of that, I wonder? Here we go. ERS burning down. Magnussen's done the fastest lap, but doesn't mean anything really at this stage, does it? As Russell overtakes Sargeant back. But that's okay. It's a long race, and we're obviously in this for the long run, because we've got to get these hard tyres as far as we can, put on the softs, and then hopefully come flying through at the end. I think I like that strategy too. I just think it's exciting at the end of the race to be able to, you know, be coming back at everybody. And it didn't work. It didn't work at Silverstone, obviously, but that was a 2-stop as well. That wasn't necessarily a 1-stop. I'm hoping anyway that this will work. And the good thing here is, oh, can he get a move done? He might, you know, because we're going to have the inside line here, outside for the next corner. And unfortunately for us, the Ferrari just has that little bit better traction, as DRS is now open. And well, let's see where this takes us from here. As Sargeant gets back ahead of Russell. He's just got to keep these Mercedes occupied, doesn't he? And, well, he's not letting the leaders get away from us either, which is good. Now, we're going to be in a DRS train. Can Magnussen do anything? I suspect not. And, in fact, we need to stop the ERS now too, don't we? Interesting, we can get about, what, 2.5 laps before that was going to run out. So that's good to know for later on in the race, perhaps. Alright, so unfortunately, Magnussen's not been able to go with the front two. So Verstappen and Sainz have pulled clear. We're in a little bit of a battle with Hamilton right now, just sort of DRSing back past each other at the front of that train. And Sargeant just sitting there in 6th, doing a really good job right now. And yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be in a battle for a win here, but certainly we could be on for a podium. Both our drivers are racing a solid race so far. So we are approaching the time for, I'd imagine, the medium tyre runners coming in. Now, Perez has made a little bit of a move. He has sort of moved ahead of Hamilton now, and it's he and Magnussen that are sort of DRSing back past each other. So that's good. If they can keep doing that, maybe you can see it's a little bit of a gap opening up to Hamilton. And if they can get Hamilton out of the DRS zone, what that will mean, of course, is that Sargeant will be able to potentially get past Hamilton as well. So Hamilton is just struggling a little bit for pace, and he might actually be out of DRS range now. Is he? As here come the pit stops. Hamilton is in, Sargeant to 5th, and well, this is where the race does start to kick on a little bit. The gap to the front two is staying about 5 seconds as Verstappen is in now. So with pit stops underway, this is where it will start to get interesting. Now, what tyres are these guys coming out on? They're coming out on the hard, so they're going to the end. So we're going to have a soft tyre up against some wearing and worn hard tyres when we do eventually come in for our stop, which is a little ways away yet. Alright, so we have some more pit stops being made here. Now, these are some of the hard runners that I'm assuming are now going onto a medium. Yeah, they are. So nobody else is going to be on a soft tyre. We currently are 1st and 2nd in the race. We're entering our pit window, so that means we can push on these tyres a little bit. With Magnussen anyway, Sargeant is a little bit more marginal on his tyre wear. And, well, this is where it starts to get interesting now. Verstappen is right behind Sargeant and may even get past him here. But, yeah, well, if he can hold him up a little bit. That's not our race. Our race, I don't think, is for the win here, as Verstappen does indeed get past Sainz. But it's how good are these soft tyres going to be? That is the big question that we have now, isn't it? Okay, so we've got a slight change of plan coming here. You can see tyre wear, Sargeant is 33, even pushing a little bit more, Magnussen is 39. So we're going to call in Sargeant on this lap. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about him getting these tyres to the end, but we'll deal with that at the time. And then what we'll do is we'll just push, Magnussen's lap back a lap. So let's ride on board with this and see how we go. We'll do a little bit of a push lap here, try and burn up some of this extra petrol that we have, and see how we go. Now, Hamilton is the one, isn't it? Now, he has been on fresher tyres, he has been on fresher hard tyres, but that gap is he's 13 seconds behind K-Mag. Now, it was, what, 27 seconds for a lap. So we are going to come out behind, which we would have expected anyway, with everybody else going onto new hard tyres while we were on our wearing ones. But, well, let's see what sort of pit stop we get out of the team here. In comes Sargeant. We will call in K-Mag this lap. Let's go full attack with K-Mag. Let's use up whatever's left on those tyres. Now, let's see where Sargeant comes out here. He's currently behind Bottas. Is he going to get out in front of... No, he's down to 10th, 11th. So on a soft tyre, he is 11th. Outside the points, but let's see what sort of damage he can do. We'll keep burning off some of that extra fuel. Let's jump on board now with K-Mag. He's going down the back straight. Sargeant is about 2 seconds behind Albon. So we'll see if now... He was about 5 seconds behind, I think, wasn't he? So we want to try and come out ahead of Russell here if we can, or Alonso even. That would be the dream, wouldn't it? And then we can have a real go at we'll see how far up we can get. Can we get back to the podium? We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Hamilton is dropping down, is he?
Is that a lockup?
It was a 3.1 second. Yeah, Hamilton is locked up, so that helps us massively. Albon is coming to the pits. So he's probably doing a similar strategy to us. We're going to need to back things off on the tyre wear there, please, K-Mag. He's come out in 7th, right behind Hamilton there. Sargeant is not a mile away from Russell, so knowing that the Mercedes is likely our race for this season for the championship, this is a good place for us to be. Now, can we get this move done? We're certainly we're on better tyres. Now, what sort of lap times was Sargeant doing after his pit stop? We don't know just quite yet. He hasn't done a full lap. Is he doing? He's doing green sectors, which you would expect him to be doing, really. And, well, we'll get an idea when he crosses this lap, won't we? Here we go. This should be the move on Hamilton, shouldn't it? DRS is open. Not quite. It's a new fastest lap. So Sargeant has done a 34.8. And we'll look at Verstappen. He's done a 35.5. So we're a second a lap faster than the leader just now. So we should... Oh, he's a little bit wide there as Hamilton. A defensive line, perhaps. So we should be coming through this pack quite nicely. We'll see what sort of lap time K-Mag can do here. He can't quite get that move done on... we've got a little bit of ERS to play with here. So let's stick him on overtake and let's see if we can get this move done. We don't want to get stuck behind Hamilton for any long period of time here. We're going to have to take that off. He's not doing fastest laps of sectors, I should say, of course, because Hamilton. And let's see, DRS open. The battery is now empty, and that's not really worked, has it? I've used that at the wrong time, if anything. But here we go, down the outside. Hamilton's battery is probably empty as well. We will swoop around, and that should be that. Okay, so 10 laps to go. K-Mag is about to enter the DRS zone of Bottas. He has done the fastest lap of the race, which is excellent. And if we go back and look at Sargeant here quickly, as we zigzag through, you can see there in front, that is Russell, Hamilton, and Alonso, who he has been catching very, very quickly as well. So let's see if K-Mag can get Bottas. He's a little far back just now. And about 3 seconds up the road from Bottas, so we can just see them there on the horizon. That is Perez and Leclerc. So that's the podium. So like I say, 10 laps to go. If we can make relatively quick work of Bottas here, which we should be able to, given the speed we've caught him with. K-Mag is on for a podium. And I'd like to think Sargeant, if he can get past cars quickly, get some overtaking done, he might be up to catch Bottas as well. So there we go. Easy as you like. Up to 5th place. Let's go back now and look at Sargeant, as the late race Haas charge looks to continue. So it's Alonso and Hamilton first. Hamilton is really, really struggling for pace, isn't he? Russell is in front of him. Sargeant's job here really is to get in front of the two Mercedes, isn't it? Anything beyond that is going to be a massive bonus for us. But if he can get ahead of the Mercedes, and therefore Alonso as well, you would imagine, then that's going to be absolutely brilliant. Lap times, you can see he's slowing down a little bit. He's still half a second faster than everybody here. And same with K-Mag. He is a little bit slower. But now he was that lap behind Bottas as well. So we'll see if his lap time picks up a little bit. You can see we're just visually catching, though. So back to a 34.5, so a second faster. A double overtake for Logan Sargeant down the front straight. Alonso and Hamilton just brushed aside. And he's back into the 34s now as well. So we are absolutely flying. And, well, let's see if we can go and get Russell now. You'd imagine we will be able to. Last lap, we were half a second faster. And that included being stuck behind Hamilton and Alonso for a little bit of that. And the gap is now down to 3 seconds or thereabouts in terms of Magnussen getting on the podium. But let's stay on board here with Sargeant as he tries to close down George Russell in the Mercedes. And of course, a reminder, there is a lot of new people coming to the channel all the time. So if you are new, welcome. The battle we're in this season, we've set ourselves a target of beating Mercedes to get third in the Constructors. If we happen to beat Ferrari as well for second, that's brilliant. But Ferrari, although we were ahead of them earlier on in the season, of course, their development is just too quick for us right now, and they've moved ahead of us. So I don't think that's feasible. But Mercedes, we're already ahead of them. That is definitely something we can try and do. I'm looking at K-Mag's tyre wear here, and I want to make sure he gets to the end, but we certainly might be able to go a bit of a full push. Now, K-Mag hasn't stuck in a wall, has he? No. Now, why is this yellow flag? It was Sainz with a spin out of second. So that has suddenly put second maybe on the cards here. Though we are running out of laps. Let's burn a little bit of extra petrol here. Now, of course, extra petrol is extra weight as well. So Ideally, you don't want that being more than it has to be. Let's see if we can get this Williams. It looks like it's possibly Mick Schumacher. A yellow flag. Oh, it always makes me nervous, but it's not Sargeant. So we don't have to worry. Alonso has run wide behind Hamilton. And we continue to close down Russell, who in turn is closing down Bottas. But we are running out of laps here. That is our primary issue. Laps are becoming a little bit of a concern. 2 seconds or so we've got now to catch Leclerc. And if we catch Leclerc, then he's behind... So no, we're still... Oh, that's not a good lap for K-Mag. I wonder if he got held up overtaking that Williams. The tyres should still be relatively good. So that was... We actually lost time that lap, which we cannot afford to do, obviously. Sargeant, I missed Sargeant's lap time. He was, well, yeah, maybe the soft tyres are just starting to drop their performance levels back to sort of level with the hard tyre, which is obviously not ideal, as Russell has got Bottas, which is extra points for Mercedes, which we don't want. We do have a little bit of Urs in the bank for Sargeant. I want to try and save that. As I wasted it a bit with K-Mag, didn't I? So I want to try and save it as much as possible. But we can see here, we are edging up on them, aren't we? We're what, about 2 tenths faster that lap. Yeah, 3 tenths faster. But with 4 laps to go or so, it's not enough right now. We're about to overtake an Aston Martin here. Looks like Lance Stroll. Out of the way, please, Lance. So he may have given us DRS. He has. So that is huge. Thank you, Lance. That's closed the gap up now, hasn't it? Very, very nicely done. And we are now, I think, going to be within DRS of Leclerc. And I wonder if he's been held up a little bit by Stroll there, as Hamilton has got past Sargeant. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen, Logan. What's going on there, mate? A yellow flag in Sector 3. I think I did see somebody going wide just as we went around that corner there.
Who's running wide there?
It was Gasly running wide. So this is not ideal. We... have both the Mercedes ahead of Sargeant. Hopefully he can get that back. We might even... Are we still catching Bottas? I wonder where Hamilton's got this burst of life from, because he looked dead and buried. But he's certainly coming back there. Now we've got DRS. That should be relatively straightforward. We've got him back. And let's go deploy. Let's try... We need to try and get to the back of these cars to get their DRS. Magnussen, meanwhile, has caught the back of Leclerc, and can he get a move done down this front straight, I wonder? Let's go a little bit more push and see what we can do. Can we get him down the outside? This looks like it's done. We go up to P4.
So what DRS?
The battery is now empty on Logan Sargeant. Let's go back and see how close did we get. Not close enough, did we? We are still... we've got this Stroll, I think, we're coming through again. Now, he should give us DRS if he's nice. Oh, I think we've gone too soon. Stroll's backed out of it a little bit too soon, and we've missed out on the DRS. Hamilton has probably got it, which is going to be annoying because it's going to bring him back towards us. Let's burn this petrol again. We'll go back with K-Mag. We have 2 laps to go at the end of this one. K-Mag 1.9 seconds behind Perez for the podium. But he still has Leclerc all over the back of him, which is the concern. We might be looking to preserve 4th rather than overtake to get onto the podium here. And, well, there we go. That's that done. We survive partially that lap. And Sargeant has opened up a little bit of a gap to Hamilton. It's 1.5 seconds. He's looking as though he might be staying where he is. Look at this. What do we do here? There he goes. The battle is very much... Can we stay in front here, please? We can. Yeah, we're very much looking... we've got a little bit of extra tyre life here, so let's go and use that. The issue, of course, Sargeant is now used the best of his tyres as Verstappen, that is, starts the last lap. So... Sargeant just needs to bring it home for us in 8th, doesn't he? The question now is, are we going to be able to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc? And the issue, of course, as well, is that, well, he's going to have DRS down this back straight. which is not ideal, obviously. And we may have been better off actually getting overtaken down the front straight there, you know. We can go full attack on the tyres. We've got a little bit of petrol. Let's deploy out of this. Try and just defend for all we've got here, K-Mag. Defend for all you've got. Is he going to be able to do it? It certainly looks like he's got a really good exit, doesn't he? I think Leclerc is too far back. So that has worked out okay for us in the end. Sainz has annoyingly nicked our fastest lap off us as well, but not much we can do about that. And, well, I think we might have just about done enough. Now, the issue we might have here is Sargeant has got Hamilton all over the back of him. Let's deploy to get him to the end here.
Yeah, copy, copy.
But K-Mag looks as though he has seen off the challenge from Charles Leclerc. So a 4th place finish is nothing to sneeze at. And let's see what Sargeant is doing. He also looks as though he may have seen off the challenge of Lewis Hamilton. So, well, could we have got 3rd with a more, let's say, traditional strategy if we got onto the mediums with K-Mag? It's impossible to know. Verstappen has won, Sainz 2nd, Magnussen will come across in 4th. And can Logan Sargeant see off the challenge of Lewis Hamilton? It's going to be very, very close. Hamilton's got the DRS open. Go on, Logan Sargeant. Head down, mate. Go on, son. He's got it. He's beaten the Mercedes, and that is a very nice result for the team there indeed. So a little bit of a slow burner, that one, as we sort of were stuck on that hard tyre for the first part of the race. But in the end, I thought it was very, very exciting. So 12 points for K-Mag, 4 points for Sargeant. That's a decent day for the team, isn't it, really? So that keeps K-Mag in 4th, and it... he's actually dropped behind Russell in the championship as Logan Sargeant, down to 9th. But crucially, the constructors, we have opened 6 more points up on Mercedes, so that is looking very, very nice indeed. It does beg the question, after the summer break, we've got 1 race and the summer break, do we shift our attention to next year's car, or is that still a little bit too close for Mercedes when we probably expect they're going to still develop? It's difficult to know, isn't it? That's the game that we're going to have to play. Sargeant's got himself a development point. K-Mag shouldn't, he doesn't, and Crawford has got himself a development point as well. Very, very exciting. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. It is now time to play the game that we like to play in the episode. How well does Aussie Villa know the calendar? I believe the next race is Hungary. I know it is because it's the last race before the summer break. Until next time, guys, I've been Aussie Villa, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.